Yeah.
Number 10, Daniel Russo. And number 81, Charles Burt. For the Bulldogs, number 3, Alejandro Vega.
Good evening, Vineland High School football fans, and welcome to Week 1 action here at Bridgeton High School as the Fighting Clan gets set to take on the cross-county rival Bulldogs. Kyle Bennett with you here in the booth. Joining me, my partner Rich Scarpa. And Rich, it's always good to have these cross-county rivalries on the schedule.
Yeah, there was a point in time where they were the biggest ones of the year. You know, it always started, you wanted to win your county, then win your conference, and moving on from there. So second year in a row back with Bridgeton. Last year, of course, wasn't such a great day for Vineland. Vineland came out really flat. They had a few new senior starters back in there that had been out, and whole thing was just a little off, and that was Bridgeton last year, 20-0 over the Fighting Clan. And not that you put point spreads on high school games, but Vineland was definitely a favorite coming in handily and just really laid an egg that game. In the last four, Vineland and Bridgeton are 2-2. With Coach Russo on your show today mentioning his first year coaching on a homecoming in 2013 that didn't go really well as Bridgeton won it 51-0 and just piled it up. And it was nice to see his emotion. Share a little bit of that, if you would.
Yeah, Coach shared that emotion, and it was nice to see him get fired up during a non-Millville game, and I think that cross-county rivalry, fire is in his belly for this one. He wants to go out there and win, and this Vineland team, they're going to have some guys back this week. Derek Akami as well,
Ladies and gentlemen,
as we are getting set for the national anthem here at Bridgeton High School.
Are members of the Bridgeton High School Junior ROTC program under the direction of Sergeant George Lennon. Presenting our nation's colors, our Commander Cadet Captain Pedro Garcia, accompanied by Cadet Captain Dulce Ruiz, Cadet Captain Kaylin Molina, and Cadet First Lieutenant Deja Powell. And now at this time, we request that you please remove your hats or render a salute if you are a veteran of the United States military, as we pay respect to our flag and country and honor America with a performance of our national anthem, which tonight will be performed by the Bridgeton High School Marching Band under the direction of Mr. Matthew Brenner. Tonight's contest is being conducted according to the rules of the New Jersey State High School Athletic Association.
So as we go back to last week, let's clean that up a little bit. And on the show I saw, and then also rewatching the game, the defense really played well, holding Oakcrest to unofficially under 50 yards rushing and 70 passing, and half of that came on one play, which didn't result in a score. And Oakcrest had over 55 yards in penalties. So you put that together with the 5 sacks, the defense really did their job 3 times getting the ball back for the offense inside the 20 because of the bad field position and going for it on force. So the offense can move a little bit more and can connect. There were some seam passes that were just off target, either the throw or the route or just the 2-point conversion was traffic with a backer coming through on that quick slant. So opportunities on offense, and I know we have a couple players back today as Charles Clark, the perceived lead running back, is back. Derek Akame, a 2-way lineman, going to be playing defensive line. And I believe he's at the anchor spot today at that defensive tackle/end. And Carlos Rodriguez, the slot receiver, back in there also. So Vineland has some people back, but one of the captains today was Burt, the tight end, number 81, who's on crutches, so he's out today.
Yeah, and Coach said on the Dan Russo show, which you can listen to on your podcast app of choice, just search Underground Sports Philadelphia, or watch it on YouTube this year. He said Burt is day-to-day, which I thought was, positive phrasing in terms of that injury. We'll see, how long he is out. He's still on crutches, but hopefully, Charles gets back and is ready to rock and roll again later on this season for the Fighting Clan. But you bring up Akame, senior leader on this team. Seems like he's really, flipped a switch to take on that leadership role, and getting him back on this defense has to have Coach Hendricks absolutely salivating. From watching the performance last week against Oakcrest, to add a piece like Akame is like getting an all-star added to your lineup. So I'm sure he's excited to use him in this defensive scheme that he's drawing up in year 1 as the defensive coordinator here for Vineland.
As we mentioned, the defensive backs and the safeties played well. The whole defense did, but it was pretty heavy. I think it was 15 passing attempts against Vineland, and most of them were covered up really, really tight.
Vineland will receive the opening kickoff here, and we are underway here at Bridgeton High School, as that will be DJ Clark on the return as he makes his way, avoids some defenders, but gets taken down just shy of the 35-yard line. So decent field position here to start this game for the Fighting Clan. We'll see Danny Russo and this offense out there for the first time, and hopefully improve upon last week where, there was moments where the offense just kind of, hit some lulls, hit some stalls. We want to clean that up this week and just be on the same page with everybody and hopefully march this ball down the field for Vineland and put some points on the board.
We'll see what kind of new looks they come out when they start right away with DJ Clark in the backfield.
James Hitchens Jr. to the bottom of your screen as Russo's in shotgun, takes the snap, pitches it out to DJ Clark, and he's met almost immediately.
Number 2, DJ Clark, the ball carrier.
Boy, Vineland had the corner there, but not bellied wide enough. Just kind of run into traffic. Good job by the end there for Bridgeton.
It was number 11, Nashawn Mead, the 6'4", 165-pound D-back for Bridgeton in on that initial tackle. This will be second down for the Fighting Clan here as they are spreading them out, and then they go trips to the bottom of your screen. So Danny Russo going to have some weapons to work with here on this second down play. Moves a man in motion, takes the snap. He hands it off to Clark on the end around. And we have a flag come in late.
So Clark picked up about 5, but there is a flag down there, and it's going to be holding on Vineland.
We saw some similar jet sweeps last week that were very effective for this Vineland football team, and hopefully, that continues. Hopefully that's a play that they don't shy away from because they did have some success with it last week.
Yeah, and there's another thing. Sometimes even without the success, you want to show something, and then do something off of it. And I think sometimes everybody's so tied into what they need on this play, and this is every team, that you try to get that instead of keeping something in your back pocket when you need it. Last week it was Vineland alternating their count all the time to try to stop that aggressive defense from Oakcrest. Right here they're going to be at 2nd and 15.
Number 3, Tank Powell to the bottom of your screen. And Bridgeton calls a timeout here, Rich.
That is their first of the first half.
Not sure what brought that on. Maybe just nobody on that side in coverage out there. But we've had some other good news as we talk about a county rivalry with Isaiah Pacheco and Marquise Bell. Pacheco making the 53-man roster for the Kansas City Chiefs as a running back, as Bell does it as a defensive back for the Cowboys. Great news for the area. There's a lot of times we go a long time without seeing any of that. And for myself, I'm in year 13 or 14 working out here in Bridgeton, right as you're looking into high school over there. So been around both teams for a long time, and it's nice when you can get that kind of success. And we're talking making the 53, not making a practice squad.
Right.
So things look pretty good moving forward for both ball players.
And it's impressive to see on both of their ends, with Pacheco being drafted towards the end of the 7th round. A lot of people, watching him fall. He gets picked up by Andy Reid and the Chiefs, and Bell does it as an undrafted free agent, which is also just as impressive. So congratulations to both of them as their NFL careers get underway. Danny Russo in shotgun all by himself. Wide receiver spread out. He moves a man in motion. He's going to carry this one up the gut. He's got plenty of room to run. He cuts, makes a move up past the 39. Taken down almost at the 40. Great run there by Danny Russo. And those are the types of plays, Rich, that we talk about all the time with Dan, where he's not a running quarterback per se, but he's a quarterback that can run, make some plays happen with his feet. That's exactly what we just saw there.
Yeah, shifty in between the hash marks. That time it was Gerald Burks who makes the tackle before Russo goes. But great vision, a little bit of lateral movement in between there. But he's always heading upfield. Yeah, even under pressure, he's dragging people forward to get as much as he can out of that.
And that's something the defense has to, keep an eye on. It's not, just leaving Dan back there in the pocket. You got to keep an eye on his legs. As a man moves in motion, Danny going to carry this one again, but Bridgeton sniffs that one out almost immediately. Nashawn Mead in on that tackle again.
A lot of emotion from Mead as he gets in the backfield for that stop. So it's Vineland going to punt it away here at 4th and short. It certainly looks that way as wholesale changes happen.
Colin Grafe last week, Rich, a fantastic performance from him. Obviously, you don't want to see your team punting as much as Vineland did, but to have a weapon like his leg, to be able to boot the ball, pretty much down the field every single time outside of the one special team snafu was a fantastic performance for Grafe.
Let's see if this has been shored up. It was a little means of contention last week.
Colin Bright in punt formation.
And Coach Russo calls
Missing
a timeout.
a tackle on that left side, so Vineland burns a timeout. So we've got one each way early on in here. It's got to be frustrating when you talk about shoring some things up, and
especially when Coach Russo talked about, they got the offense down locked, they got the defense down locked, and it was one of those things where special teams, the season crept up on them so quickly that it got away from them. So hopefully, as this game progresses and the season progresses, the special teams gets more cleaned up to be more polished like the offense and the defense.
so it is Grafe back to kick it away.
Number 14, Bright on the punt. Number 5, Gary Harper back deep for the Bulldogs to receive the punt.
Gary Harper the third is the deep man for the Bulldogs as Grafe gets a good snap, punts this one away. Another fantastic punt. Takes a good bounce for Vineland, and this one's going to roll.
Get inside that 10.
And that is inside the 10 as that ball is willed all the way up to about the 6 by Xavion Diaz.
Oh, outstanding. That's what I can remember back in the day. Whenever you'd punt to mainland, they'd have 2 guys back. I've never seen them take a step with a ball. They ran up and fair caught it and stopping that roll.
So Bridgeton will get on offense for the first time in this game with 8 minutes and 46 seconds to go in the first quarter. Deep in their own territory, thanks to Colin Grafe, the Bridgeton High School football field turf, and Xavion Diaz using a bit of the Star Wars Force. As Bridgeton takes the snap, fakes the handoff. Quarterback's going to run. Good pickup there. He gets popped by James Hitchens Jr. But Brian Pritchett, the ball carrier at quarterback for the Bulldogs tonight.
Brian Pritchett, not your regular quarterback, as you know, he's out there. You see, he's more of a fullback at 5'9", 220. But total miscommunication in the backfield. But Pritchett showed some elusiveness and some speed. Pick up a big gain.
Pritchett with two running backs beside him in shotgun, takes the snap. There's a flag on the field.
Penalty flag.
It's going to be a false start.
False start against the Bulldogs. Be a 5-yard penalty.
Looked like the slot receiver or wide out or possible tight end. Somebody on the top of there got a little head start. So that nice run by Pritchett's going to come back, and I think it needs to come back a little more. So up front for Vineland, Manuel DeVellis at the one end.
Playing both ways this year, playing some left tackle as well at the request of Coach Russo. As Bridgeton here, the ball is down, and Vineland.
Boy, Pritchett is a handful to bring down, and he stayed up long enough to get face mask.
Loose ball. He's tackled in the end zone for safety, but there's a penalty flag on the field.
Boy, when he was telling me last year in school he was a fullback, I'm like, does he have the speed for it? Just looking, but he certainly has some speed and strength in that lower half of his body. So this will be interesting. They're about 7 yards deep in the end zone. So it's going to, don't move the down markers. Put that back. They're moving the sticks. But no, it's going to end up being second and about 2. So a gain of +1 on that from the original.
And we'll see what Coach Hendricks has in store here on this second down play with Vineland's defense ready to attack. Is great defensive stop there. That's Tayshawn Newman.
And that's one thing, as we mentioned pregame, Bridgeton tries to do, just swing it out wide, get a little 2-on-3 matchup and make some people miss. And that's just not this year. That's kind of what they did all last year with Jermaine Bell.
Newman, the 6'2", 215-pound junior. Playing some linebacker. He's now going to be playing some tight end with Charles Burt out.
So Sabian Chandler is at the nose with Akami on the other side of that line. Tank Powell to the bottom of your screen.
Third down here for the Bulldogs as they look to pass, scrambling. Newman misses, but a great takedown.
Ball.
They're going to call that incomplete.
Boy, that almost came out. Great pressure.
That was Derek Akami, Rich, and we talked about him pregame coming into this defense for Coach Hendricks. He's going to be useful, getting after the quarterback, creating pressure, creating chaos back there, and making quarterbacks feel uncomfortable. And that's just, scratching the surface of what we just saw there.
They called that incomplete.
They did.
Instead of a fumble when it was on his chest. No arm moving forward, so big break for the Bulldogs there. I didn't think that was one of the options.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be in the grasp or fumble. And
Bridgeton will punt this one away. High snap. There is a flag.
Talk about the good thing you got a head start. That penalty would be the most favorable penalty. They're looking at Vineland. This could have been Vineland offsides. Now they're moving back. Fisher was just talking to one of the Vineland players, but they push him back, but that's an easy safety.
Illegal substitution penalty against the Bulldogs.
I think there's been more penalty yards on this drive here than actual yards.
Well, I watched the Delsey scrimmage with Bridgeton, and all the snaps were like perfect. The whole time I was impressed. There it is.
Much
a nice
better snap there, but we've got another flag on the field.
Rick Schobel, the official, is the head referee, is going to be marching
Looks like they're
it
calling
off.
this one on Bridgeton as well.
Boy, and it gets, when you've had a couple bad snaps, and now you're not at your normal depth on a punt, and now you've had 3 different depths on punts, like it makes it much more difficult.
4th and 12 at their own 5-yard line.
You know, being a former kicker and having punting experience and listening to Pat McAfee talk about punting. Punting from deep in your end zone is one of the most difficult things to do in a football game.
It gets it out there, so Vineland with great field position, but Bridgeton avoids some trouble with
Disaster.
a possible safety that
Multiple
got brought
times
back,
that-
maybe a fumble or a tackled at the 1. So it's kind of like what Vineland did last week, you know, with their kept making stops, and Bridgeton now needs to battle back for some field position, but Vineland in great position to start this one.
Vineland will start this drive at the 32-yard line. Best starting field position the Fighting Clan has had all season. Let's see if Danny Russo can, you know, lead the charge and put some points on the board here for Vineland.
Bridgeton has everybody up front,
So Vineland's going 5 wide again.
and Bridgeton still has 7-8 in the box.
Man in motion. Fakes the handoff. Russo going to run up the gut.
Number 10, Daniel Russo, the ball carrier.
Well, nice game for Russo, but when you spread them out, you'd think they'd be out a little more.
Russo gains 8.
Vineland attacked where they kept an extra guy at. Russo's still able to make a nice gain.
They're going to give Danny Russo 8 on that carry, so it'll be 2nd and 2 from the 24.
It's Jordan Bennett, 73 up front for Vineland, the senior at 6'2", 290 at the tackle spot.
So we got 5 wide again. We'll see if Russo moves a man in motion like he's been doing in these 5 wide sets, but he's going to look to pass. Screen to number 4 there. That's Cephas. Joshua Cephas.
Daniel Russo's
Nice, safe little pass. Cephas picks up the first down.
And he's that type of wide receiver, Rich, that reminds you of, you know, when you go back to the New England Patriots heydays of a Danny Amendola, Julian Edelman, a Wes Welker. He's going to be that shifty slot guy that you can get those nice little dump-off screen passes to. And because he has that speed and shiftiness, he's going to be able to make plays happen once the ball's in his hands.
So red zone opportunity, Vineland at the 19.
First down here. I'm enjoying these 5 wide sets from Vineland's offense so far this season. Cephas moves in motion. Russo hands it off to him, but Bridgeton sniffs that one out. That is number 11, Nashawn Mead.
the ball carrier.
Seems like we're going to be calling his name a lot tonight, Rich.
Number 11, Christopher Johnson.
Mead is quick and a short tackler and brings some emotion to it out there.
Loss of 8 on the play.
So they lose 8
2nd and 18 from the 27.
on the attempted wide receiver handoff. It'll be 2nd and 18 from the 27. We saw last week the passing ability Danny Russo has to get the ball to his wide receivers. We saw, you know, the pinpointing that Tank Powell has. We've seen it in the past from James Hitchens Jr. Let's see if we get these wide receivers involved here on 2nd and long for Vineland. Russo takes the snap. He's looking to pass. He's looking for Hitchens. He's all by himself, and Hitchens is into the end zone for his first touchdown of the 2022 season. That's James Hitchens Jr. for the Fighting Clan. And with 4:41 remaining in the first quarter, Vineland's going to have a 6-0 lead.
Daniel Russo.
Yeah, Hitchens just able to pull away from the defense, and we talked about those quick in the middle passes. This time, Hitchens enough time to adjust and pull it down like a center fielder and gets in for the easy score for the Fighting Clan.
Finally going to go for the extra point attempt here. Coach Russo discussed on the Coach Russo show why they went for 2 last week instead of having Greif kick the extra point. So we'll see Greif's first extra point attempt here. Ball snapped, kick is up, and it is right through the uprights. So Vineland with a 7-0 lead here.
Well, while we get ready for the kickoff, we'll thank our sponsors.
The Red and Gray Gridiron Club would like to thank the following sponsors for their support of the Vineland High School football team. Ducharme's, the Greenview Inn at Eastland Golf Course, Reconstructive Orthopedics, Newfield National Bank, Van Dodge, Allen Associates, Technid Consulting, Medio Law Firm, Barufi Brothers, G&S Dry Cleaning, Vineland Education Association, Dr. Michael Gorson General and Cosmetic Dentistry, The Claridge, a Radisson Hotel, The Gorgo Group, Larry's 2 Restaurant and Catering, Bettino's ShopRite, Carluzzo and Teresi Petroleum Transporters, Homestead Plumbing, Richland Carpet, Manny and Vic's Pizzeria, and Sir Speedy Printing. The Vineland High School football team and coaches thanks everyone for their support on and off the field and look forward to another successful season.
And welcome back. Thank you to our sponsors. Vineland now up 7-0 over the Bulldogs with 4:41 remaining here in the first quarter. Fantastic pass from Danny Russo to James Hitchens Jr., who was able to break away from the defensive back to put that first score on the board for the Fighting Clan. And that's what you want to see here, Rich, as Vineland kicks this ball away to Bridgeton. Harper's going to return this one. He's got plenty of space to run. He's going to take it up to about the 40, spins away, keeps churning his legs, and he gets to about the 43. Great return by Gary Harper III.
Well, it's 2 kickoffs that both teams kicked it off, which was nice to see, but good returns, especially Harper this time. Just seems like a lot of times it comes down to one guy slowing them up when it shouldn't be that way, especially a return that kind of stayed inside the hashes for both teams. Xavier Diaz in the backfield, in the defensive backfield, along with Hitchens.
Tank Powell all the way to the bottom of your screen.
Interesting look here from Bridgeton.
As they hand this one off on the high snap. Good run there by the running back, Angelo Marrero.
Number 2, Angelo Marrero, the ball carrier.
I'll tell you what, Bridgeton runs angry and they run hard.
6, 2nd and 4 at the 49.
Got to give some credit to this Bridgeton offense, too, putting a new quarterback in 2 weeks ago. He was a borderline guard fullback, and he's done a nice job.
So Pritchett ready to take this snap here. Hands this one off to Marrero, but he's met almost immediately by number 58, Derek Akami.
Boy, and having somebody out, a starter, you know, they're a starter because they're the best one you have. But when it's at that defensive line position, when you're on the edge, you know, a lot of people are running this basically 3-man front, and there's so much responsibility. I can remember defensive ends getting destroyed when they had a tackle on the inside of them for doing dumb things. Now imagine having both responsibilities, and that position is really key when you have an experienced guy coming back.
Split backs for Bridgeton. Another high snap. Pritchett got to make something happen on his own. He barrels through. He fumbles the ball. We'll see who comes up with it. Looks like Pritchett fell on it.
Yes, he did. Fumbles, recovers his own fumble.
Oh, he had it out loose, but he made up for it by getting on it. But he could have been dropped for a 6-yard loss.
Akami was in on that pile as well. And we talked about him a ton pregame, Rich. He's excited to be back out there with his teammates. He's a leader on this defense. As Pritchett has another high snap. This one gets away from him again. Ball's rolling. It's loose, but it's recovered by Bridgeton. That's number 8, Jonathan Harris, who falls on it.
So Bridgeton going for it near midfield and loses a little bit there. Vineland with great field position again. See if they try to let their sophomore running back get a touch. Oh, and we still have yet to see Borte get a carry today after being such a workhorse last week. But Vineland's had something working for him, and this time it's going to be Clark.
DJ Clark in there. Some confusion amongst the offensive line for Vineland. It's Jordan Bennett running in late.
Well, when you're a lineman, you only get called for penalties or something like this, so.
Russo's in shotgun. DJ Clark is beside him. He's going to pitch it out to Clark, who's got some space.
Get outside.
And even on a short run like that, you see the speed that DJ Clark possesses, that he can use out of the backfield. He can use it lined up as a wide receiver. We've seen him go toe-to-toe as a defensive back last week against Oakcrest. He's got some of the most explosive speed on this team.
Well, if there's one thing I have noticed from Bridgeton watching some film, is the defensive backs will come up and make a hit, but they don't wrap, they don't tackle. And when you have somebody like Clark coming at you that's 6 foot, 180, doesn't sound enormous, but he runs big, all knees and elbows with a full head of speed right at you. You almost got to take him out, and that's where you can get some missed tackles.
He picked up 4 on that last run, so it'll be 2nd and 6. We've got the whistle. Timeout Vineland.
So timeout Fighting Clan. And, you know, you can watch this on many things. YouTube being one of our most prominent. We have fans all over.
We had Tyreen Powell checking in on Twitter last week after his brother scored the touchdown, and we have a special viewer tonight, Rich, all the way from Oak Ridge, Tennessee, as Diane Rivera would like to say hi to her grandson and favorite player, number 80, Carlos Rodriguez. Just proves the Fighting Clan has fans from across the country, Rich.
Yeah, it's good to have Carlos back, too. You can pick him out easy with the red underneath his shirt hanging out there.
Be sure to subscribe to the Vineland Public Broadcasting, Vineland Public Schools YouTube channel to watch all of the great events this year, sports, and much more happening for the 2022-2023 school year. And a special thank you to tonight's crew, Gia Missouri and Doug Diola.
And what do the Oak Ridge boys sing? Oh, my.
You got me perplexed.
You're that
here.
young. Elvira.
There we go.
That's the Oak Ridge boys. That's your old guy reference for the evening. 2nd down and a long 6.
Russo lined up in shotgun. That is DJ Clark at the running back spot. Another pitch out to Clark. He's got some space around the outside, makes a move, gets out of bounds.
Looks like he may just be a little bit short of the 1st down. Almost saw something that on a Dan Russo's show on Underground Sports Philly when I was watching on YouTube, talked about you get a penalty called when you stick your hands up saying you have it, and I thought that was a great point that you guys were talking about. And there, one of the Vineland players came off a little bit. I'm like, don't put him up.
And that's at every level. You see that in college. You see that in the NFL. Yep. The ref's going to call it on the player who throws those hands up because they're going to look at it like you did something wrong. So they call it 3rd and 2 here, Rich, with 1:37 left here in the opening quarter. Vineland up 7-0.
Look at this look. Full house.
Russo's going to QB sneak it here. And it seems like he churned those legs enough to pick up that 1st down. I like that play call there.
Yeah, especially you have your 2 backs behind you. No offense to the quarterback or whoever has the ball. You drop a shoulder in their back, and you push them forward a few yards. Vineland quickly came out into that.
So Vineland now with the ball at the 33-yard line, 1st and 10.
Nave Morris, number 75 for Bridgeton, check backs in. He's one of their players to watch. He's a big fella at 6'3", 260.
Going wide again as Cephas moves in motion. We have a flag.
Yeah, I was waiting for that.
False start against the Fighting Clan. So that's going to push them back to the 38.
I think I take it. I think that play, if the whistle didn't blow, was going to lose about 3 yards. So you get an extra down for the cost
Had that
of 2
high
yards.
snap there. You guys got to remember, we got to respect the short kings, as they say. Josh Cephas is only 5'7". Russo's got to be able to get that ball down quickly to him to shove it in the breadbasket.
Prince Borte back in there now. He's going to be out second from the bottom of your screen.
First time we've seen him check out wide all season long. Under a minute now to go here in the opening quarter. Russo in shotgun. He takes the snap. He's looking to pass. He's got a screen to Tank Powell. Makes a man miss. Pushes forward. Reaches that ball out. A little dangerous there, Tank. But he holds on to the ball.
Well, defended real well by Bridgeton, but he makes a couple miss, and the third guy gets it for a short gain. So defended well, and Tank did everything he could with that one.
Maybe at halftime we'll have to check in and see if Tank grew any inches during the week. As Coach Russo says, it seems like every day he's getting taller.
So it looks like this will be the last play of the first quarter as we're down to 15 seconds and running as Vineland gets set.
James Hitchens Jr. is all the way to the bottom of your screen. He scored Vineland's touchdown earlier in this game. Russo. False start on Vineland.
Or did time run out? Let's see. Looks like they're going to hold the flag as the buzzer on the clock.
Be a 5-yard penalty, and that'll be the end of the first quarter. The score, the Vineland Fighting Clan 7, the Bridgeton Bulldogs 0.
So it is a false start on Vineland. They're going to lose 5. They'll have an untimed down here. So one more play to go before the first quarter is over.
It'll be a 5-yard penalty for delay of game.
Last time something like this happened, Vineland went right back to the same play and got some yards from Clark.
We'll have a final play of the first quarter.
2nd and 16 here for Vineland on this untimed down. Russo takes the snap. He's going to carry it himself. And falls forward for a gain of maybe 2 on that one. But that's going to be the end of the first quarter, Rich, with Vineland up 7-0.
With some good field position. It's been a little bit of a loose ball around for Bridgeton, some breakdowns, but I like the way they're grinding with the ball in their hands. And we've had, was it Rolando? Oh, Rolando did the kicking off. Nashawn. Nashawn Meade just really dominating the defense. I think he has at least 2 tackles for loss today. So Vineland, compared to last week to this, seems to be trying to get the ball wide a little bit more. Last week it was a lot of pound in the middle.
Playing to Danny Russo's strengths, I would say, too. You know, using his arm. We saw the passing touchdown here earlier in the game to James Hitchens Jr., allowing him to use his legs as well on some of these designed runs. And then they're kind of incorporating the running game with, you know, wide receiver screens, wide receiver end arounds.
And Bridgeton is fairly big in the middle. You know, they're all over 255 pounds up front for them. So it is some mass to move around. And Brian Pritchett and Jonathan Harris, the linebackers, do a nice job defensively, too. So it's probably where their strength is on defense.
Okay, we will begin playing the second quarter.
So Vineland wisely, you know, spreading them out, at least attempted to. Sometimes they don't want to come out.
So we're getting set here for the second quarter of play. Vineland leading 7-0 if you're just joining us on a James Hitchens Jr. receiving touchdown from number 10, the quarterback, Danny Russo, who is in shotgun right now with Borte, who moves in motion. Russo looking to pass. He's getting pressured. Ball was a little too high in the direction of DJ Clark. Falls incomplete.
Yeah, after the deflection, it's Gilbert by there. Gilbert's matched up, got a good matchup now. 64 for Vineland with 75 for Bridgeton, Neve Morris. But that was set up pretty nice. I was thinking screen to the bottom at first. So 4th down, Vineland's going to go for it here.
Notorious for doing that a lot last year. We saw them do it a couple times last week against Oakcrest. And they're not afraid to do it in enemy territory because if it does fail, it's almost like they punted it away.
And so far this year, the defense really hasn't given up much. Now they overload the short side of the screen here.
Russo takes the snap. He's looking to pass. He's firing in the direction of Hitchens. Overthrows his #1 wide receiver, James Hitchens Jr.
Dante Howell, a freshman in coverage out there for Bridgeton on the senior 6'3" Hitchens.
Tough
And just-
assignment there as a freshman.
Yeah, and I can remember coaching freshmen, and even some of the kids that were the fastest, your Jamar Bird, your Darren Ford, there's still not that maturity and that speed that comes. I mean, I can remember timing them and being like, well, they look really quick, but the numbers, and then once you finish growing, there's so much more speed there. So a very tough responsibility, and Vineland went to it again by overloading one side and leaving Hitchens there. And that's something I think if you throw it 3 times, you're going to get one of them.
So Vineland turns it over on downs. Bridgeton will start their first drive of the second quarter here from the 39-yard line. Pritchett takes the snap. He hands this one off to the running back there. I believe that's Alejandro Vega on the carry. And again, that initial tackle, Rich, Derek Akami.
Gets up a little gingerly. So no gain on that. Almost seems like if you had somebody else hand the ball off and let Pritchett kind of run with it himself, he seems to be the toughest to bring down for them.
Akami listed at 6'1", 230 pounds. Pritchett looking to take this snap here. He's going to carry it himself. Runs into a big old group of Vineland defenders there. It was number 11, Noah Cruz, on the initial tackle.
Well, I'm getting ready to say you keep coming down towards Akami, who's making all the tackles, but there is no rest on the other side with 6'5", 215 DeBellas. Like, so those two positions are manned really well. It's almost like you think you got to hit through the middle.
Noah Cruz, part of this new look linebacker group for Vineland, the sophomore, listed at 6 foot, 200 pounds. He's only going to continue to get better in this Vineland defense, now led by Coach Hendricks.
Well, Jordan Bennett, the 6'2", 290 senior, in at nose tackle. It's a new look we didn't see last week. Coach Guzman, the defensive line coach, mixing it up a little bit.
Yeah, Tayshawn Newman now following. That's Harper. Great tackle there for Vineland. That's number 22, Josian Serrano, the senior 5'9", 200-pound linebacker.
But he had some support, and they did a real nice job on that one. So Bridgeton's drives goes for -1. Vineland set to return a punt right at their own 40.
And we said it last week, Rich, and we've said it on the Dan Russo show as well. This defense looks tenacious. They look angry. They're scrappy, and they continue to, trend in that direction here in Game 2 under Coach Hendricks. And it's an exciting time if you're a Vineland football fan to be watching the way this defense is playing.
Even the play before, Noah Cruz involved there as I'm watching him out there, and we're calling some different names. And that's one thing that, Bridgeton has a lot of players dressed tonight, much more than last year. But Vineland's size and their travel, is something that allows you to give somebody a break. And then you see somebody new and you're like, daggone, they're pretty good.
Penalty is called on Bridgeton. A little bit of a high snap there for the punter. Vineland almost got in there, but a good kick away there by Harris.
And
Antonio
Wilmore downs
Wilmore.
that quickly. But Harris got some nice hang time.
So Vineland will get another possession here from the 38-yard line here in the second quarter. And Rich, on this drive, what are you looking for Danny Russo and company to do to, try to move this ball down the field and increase this 7-0 lead that they have so far in this game.
Instead of just going back to Aaron and out, I'd like to see establish a running game and start to put a little pressure on that defense, beating them, wearing them down a little bit. But they spread them out. All last year we're like, empty the backfield. So whatever you give us, we want the other.
So here we go. Russo in shotgun, looking to pass. He's scrambling, looking. He's going to take it himself. Trips forward for a decent gain there on the first down run.
Yeah, Marrero came up and makes the stop. It looked like there could have been a little bit more there. We got a player down. That's why Vineland's pulling back. Player down on the sideline for Bridgeton. We're at 8:51. So the scoring was a Hitchens 27-yard pass from Russo with 4:41 to go in the first, and Greif's kick was good, and that's all we've got on the board. Is both teams kind of just milled about a little bit. Does seem like Vineland's had plays that could get some chunks and plays they made and other ones they can go to, while Bridgeton really still trying to find its way.
We honor BHS graduate and current Dallas Cowboys safety Marquise Bell. There will be a parade along West
Well,
Avenue.
all the Cumberland County towns are giving out lots of keys to the city.
Yes, they are. I'm sure the local hardware stores are churning up those keys left and right.
Yeah, I wasn't sure Pacheco had to get his from from the first person. Did they have to go call Jamil? Can you bring that key back today?
And I know Jamil's working hard, looking to latch onto a roster right now, recovering from his knee injury he sustained last season. So
I don't think he's played anywhere where people didn't rave about his work ethic and his ability. So I'm sure there'll be more opportunity for him as the season gets underway. People start to get a little banged up. And that's all he needs. He had a little glimpse of opportunity going to the Senior Bowl, and they turned it into a Super Bowl ring.
And overall, 2 Super Bowl appearances for the Rams in his time with LA. As Vineland out there, 2nd and 9 now. Russo takes the snap, quick pass to the outside. It's complete. Great speed there from James Hitchens Jr. to turn upfield on the wide receiver screen.
You just see the way that play is designed, how quickly it gets there. You make the one miss and you move. And that's the experience of a quarterback and a receiver that have been there. When we watch Bridgeton try to swing it out, it's just not as crisp.
Those are the growing pains we talked about last season, with Hitchens in his first year of varsity football, Danny Russo in his first year of varsity football. We want to see them grow together, and they seem to be just as, as symbiotic as possible now that they've had a full season and now an off season together to continue to grow in this new offense for Vineland. As Russo takes the snap, hands this one off to the running back. That is Charles Clark. His first run of the season. Welcome back, Charles Clark. A great burst of energy from the backfield there, Rich.
Just looks different when he has the ball. Even there, instead of going out, tries to spin back in. Does Clark, picks up about 14 or 15 on that.
And we noticed the difference-making speed, the cuts last year when he stepped in, when Vineland called up that group of freshmen to come onto this varsity squad. Charles Clark, you saw he kind of had that it factor ready to, burst onto the scene. And his first run of the season there looked absolutely fantastic as he's back out there in the backfield with Danny Russo for this first down play from the 33-yard line for Vineland. As Russo takes the snap. Quick pass again, wide receiver screen to James Hitchens Jr. He turns upfield, and another good gain on that wide receiver screen pass to James Hitchens Jr.
Just keep taking what they're giving you. Bridgeton's defense, we have 2 receivers down there, but safety's over the double side. And, Vineland creates some mismatches with Hitchens and then rolling now Rodriguez and Powell to the other side. It's almost like you got to play back in the middle.
Russo takes the snap. He's going to hand this one off to Clark. He gets met immediately by a Bridgeton defender, but we do have a flag on the play. Looks like Jonathan Harris in on the tackle for Bridgeton. It's the beginning of the month, Rich. The refs have to get those flag quotas in.
These officials are good. They're getting them out of the way instead of waiting until the last day of the month.
So now it'll be 2nd and 13 for Vineland from the 36-yard line. Just under 8 minutes to go here in the first half, with Vineland leading 7-0 on a 27-yard touchdown reception from James Hitchens Jr. 5 wide again for Vineland. Russo takes the snap. Quick pass. Tayshawn Newman is the receiver. Or, I'm sorry, that is Charles Clark.
And Clark pretty elusive, whatever he does. So Vineland got it back. Now it's going to be 3rd and manageable. 3rd and 5 as we have 7.5 minutes to go in the first half.
The jersey numbers this week not as in your face and visible as they were last week with those beautiful slate gray uniforms that Vineland wore with the white numbers.
It looks like Bridgeton's going to take a timeout. A lot of players going both ways. Want to give them a little break. This is a big down, but it's 2-down territory from here for the Fighting Clan.
Vineland in their all-white uniforms. Bridgeton in their burgundy tops, white bottoms.
Hey, nobody's cramped up yet today.
Knock on wood.
CB. Bennett going both ways so far.
It's good for the name brand there, Rich. Good for the name brand.
I keep hitting it. I keep hitting it. Guess 6'2", 290 kind of sets you up to be out there as long as you can be.
It's very similar to Emmanuel DeVellis this year. You know, Coach Russo said, hey, do you want to win this year? And he said, yes, Coach. And that's why he's playing some left tackle this year as well as his typical, you know, edge rusher spot on the defense. As Charles Clark is in the backfield once again.
He's so far out of the box.
Charles Clark, the ball carrier, turns upfield, makes something out of nothing, and gets to about the 20, maybe the 19 on that run. Great run again by Charles Clark. And the 2 returning players that we referenced, you know, in our pregame talk, Rich, Charles Clark on the offense, Derek Akemi on the defense. We've called their names a number of times so far in this game, and it's only going to continue in this one and as the season progresses, because those are the type of skill position players on the offense and defense that they are.
So Borte checks in now. Clark heads out. And that's the other thing. You get some people a little bit of rest. You know, you have them where they're not expending it all early, and you can roll some people through. Tight formation here.
That's Cephas, Tank Powell, and Carlos Rodriguez to the bottom of your screen. Russo looking for Hitchens Jr., and it's a bit of an overthrow there for the big 6'3", 175-pound wide receiver.
And just as Borte's in, but he's holding his leg here. Got a little tangled up at the end of that one.
Looks like he's holding his ankle there as trainers come out to take a look.
That's why I'm always watching, just hoping they push a toe back and go from there. So that week 0 is a tough one to work out the kinks. You know, you should be playing a preseason game or a scrimmage at that point in time. And Ocean City had a heck of a comeback versus Mainland yesterday. I was reading about that one.
Checking in on an opponent that Vineland will be playing, I believe, next week. Clearview on the schedule, playing Atlantic City, tied up at 7 apiece early, and now just recently Atlantic City with a 14-10 lead in the second quarter.
Well, Clearview, boy, we've had some memories there. I can remember going to Clearview and early in Coach Russo's career with Pacheco and Anderson, or may have even been Seymour back then. But everybody said, oh, Clearview, Clearview, Clearview. And I think we put up 50-some points. It was like a 56-20 game. And that was the first time it made it that, oh, Vineland's for real. We've had great success versus Clearview.
Borte getting help off the field by Xavion Diaz and Israel Schwed. And Coach brought up on the Dan Russo show this week, Rich, that Borte, even as a transfer, has stepped up as a leader on this team. He's been super positive in the huddle messages, always, talking the team up, hyping everybody up, and just trying to integrate himself into a new situation as a transfer from East Orange.
And a junior, so he'll be back again.
So hopefully he's okay. As Russo takes the snap here, looking to pass, he's firing and overthrows Hitchens once again.
Nice job by Bennett that time getting that pass rush away as Jonathan Harris was approaching Russo, but Harris did enough to break up the timing on that.
This will be 3rd and 10 from the 20-yard line. Another red zone opportunity here for Vineland. Let's see if they can capitalize and pick up a first down here to extend this drive. Obvious 2-down territory here if you know the Fighting Clan well enough, like Rich and I get an opportunity to each and every week. Charles Clark in the backfield there, right next to Danny Russo. Hitchens to the bottom of your screen. Russo takes the snap. He's facing pressure, and he's taken down. That is Brian Pritchett.
So the quarterback, Pritchett, makes a big sack there. Vineland will probably still go for it, but so much more difficult now. It's a loss of 10 by Pritchett.
Some quarterback-on-quarterback crime right there. As Pritchett makes a big-time sack on Danny Russo.
Well, last year that was Bridgeton. They sent both backers mostly all through the A-gap all game long, and we had trouble with it. So Coach Lane gets back to that on a big 3rd down, putting Vineland behind the chains for 4th. You know what this is going to be. We're going to load the bottom of the screen, leave Hitchens up top. Up. It's going to be Powell and Rodriguez. And Cephas to the top. They're going to switch it around. I like the corner matchup on the other side.
Russo looking to pass. He's firing deep.
So Bridgeton withstands.
Powell scored a touchdown last week for Vineland. And if I'm not mistaken, earlier, Rich, on Vineland's lone touchdown, Colin Greif's first points of the season in a Vineland uniform, so congrats to Colin. So 5:12 left on the clock here in the second quarter as Bridgeton will take over on downs from the 30-yard line.
So as the defense gave up nothing that last drive, they're pressed up to the line.
High snap, Pritchett going to take it himself, but he's met by a group of Vineland defenders. Tayshawn Newman make the initial tackle.
Well, he's a load to bring down, gain of 4, but we do have a flag on the field.
It'll be holding on the Bulldogs, so.
And a lot of times people are held, but it's your effort when you're held that gets you the flag, and a great effort there trying to come off blocks and scrape down.
A 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. The Bulldogs with a 1st and 22 at their own 18.
So it's going to be 1st and 20, 1st and 22 maybe from the 18-yard line here for Bridgeton. Harper moves in motion down towards the bottom of your screen. Pritchett takes the snap. He fires. It's complete to his receiver. Receiver went kind of backwards. He's going to make his way back upfield, but he's taken down by Tank Powell. It's Dante Howell on the catch, so Powell tackles Howell.
Good job making the first guy miss, but Powell, short tackler, comes up, and it's no gain. And there wasn't much behind Powell on that.
2nd and 21 at the 19.
Second and 21.
Mind you of his brother, how quickly he would come up from that defensive backfield.
Tyreem and Rutgers get underway tomorrow against Boston College. So wishing our best to Tyreem and the Scarlet Knights.
Some good football last night. Watched Pitt, West Virginia, and a little bit of Penn State.
So we got second and 21 from the 19-yard line here for Bridgeton. High snap and another flag.
False start penalty against Bridgeton.
Going to push the Bulldogs back even further.
5-yard penalty.
3:47 to go.
Leaves Bridgeton a
It's like Vineland could get another shot with the footballs.
14.
Second and 26 now from the 14-yard line for Bridgeton.
They've had a couple snap issues.
So the further you push them back, the
harder
more
it
opportunities
gets.
you can create to potentially, create some havoc, maybe pick up a safety, or if you're lucky, a defensive touchdown.
6'3", 275 Sabion Chandler right on top of the.
Pritchett looking to pass. Newman was in there trying to create some havoc. Gets it to Howell. But Vineland takes down Howell. That's number 52, Sabion Chandler, to make the stop.
Russell makes the catch and does everything he can, but he looked pretty quick with the ball in his hands. That's a person we haven't called out yet. He hasn't touched it till then.
Third and 25 now from the 15-yard line for Bridgeton. Under 3 minutes to go here in the first half. Pritchett moves a man in motion. Hands this one off to Gary Harper.
Boy, Tayshawn Newman played that perfect. He fought off 2 or 3 blocks, spread it out, didn't let him turn in, and then makes the tackle. Sometimes your job's just to keep it contained or to stretch it out, and he does both and comes up with a tackle.
Force out there, Tayshawn Newman, like we mentioned earlier. He's a junior, so he'll still be here again next year as well. 6'2", 215 for Tayshawn Newman. So Bridgeton will punt this one away on 4th and 25. Vineland almost gets in there to cause some chaos. And Bridgeton will down this one with 1:33 left on the clock. So 93 seconds for Vineland to move this ball down and try to get another score on the board for themselves before halftime.
Clark. Done. But it's Harris has been under pressure with those punts. So sometimes it's good he just gets it away, but not enough time to really step forward.
A couple of Clarks on this team. Sure there's a way to remix the Baby Shark song to just Charles Clark and DJ Clark. Charles Clark does move out wide. As Vineland goes 5 wide here on this first down play. Russo looking to pass. Wide receiver screen intended for Cephas. Falls incomplete.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Seems like an even matchup there.
Number 4, Joshua Cephas. 2nd and 10, 37.
That's what's weird about that. There's some quick blocks up front on those plays, and sometimes if you take a second to look it off, you can let a receiver, instead of have to block, just head upfield and pull somebody with them. That was going to be a little 4-on-4 action down at the bottom.
2nd and 10 from the 37-yard line for Vineland. 90 seconds left here in the opening half. Your Fighting Clan leading the Bridgeton Bulldogs 7-0. Charles Clark in the backfield, moves in motion. Russo looking to pass. He's facing some pressure. He gets the pass off. That's DJ Clark. And he loses the football, and it's picked up by Gary Harper.
Clark brought down awkwardly, sliding his knee just up as the ball comes loose. So Bridgeton will get another shot with 1:21 to go.
It was Gary Harper the third on the recovery. Unfortunate for Vineland.
Pretty disciplined by Bridgeton, too, not getting sucked up the field there. So there's a couple guys for him to try to get around.
So 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs here. Minute and 21 remaining in this opening half. Pritchett takes the snap. He's looking to pass. He fires wide open, and it hits the turf. Jonathan Harris, the intended receiver there. Good sportsmanship there by Ryan Carter from Vineland, helping Harris up.
Would have been a nice game, but Vineland had defenders back there to make the tackle. Now Hitchens comes in as Xavier Diaz heads out.
Didn't see too much of number 9 out there for Vineland. That's Ryan Maven. Didn't see too much of him last week, I should say. But with DJ Clark playing a lot more on offense, seems like Maven getting some burn on defense at defensive back as Harper, the ball carrier, gets taken down by Noah Cruz. He's just so much fun to watch, Rich. As we get a
see if Vineland's going to, they have 2 timeouts left, I believe. See if they're going to use one here.
Noah Cruz, so much fun to watch on this defense. He's just a wrecking ball out there at the linebacker position. Sophomore, 6 foot, 200 pounds.
So Bridgeton in no hurry with 3rd and about 15.
Bridgeton will receive that second half kickoff as well.
Looks like Bridgeton may just
There's Jonathan Harris for Bridgeton, limps off to the sideline. 3rd and 10 from the 26 for Bridgeton. Pritchett ready for this snap. High snap. Tayshawn Newman gets in there. It's intercepted by Vineland. That's number 51 for the Fighting Clan. Ryan Carter runs it in for the score, and Vineland has their first defensive touchdown of the year.
boy, deflected pass and heads up play by Carter.
Great awareness there by Carter to just know exactly where that ball was going. And
That probably felt like the longest 20 yards for Carter.
Vineland just clears a path there for Ryan Carter, the junior 5'10", 225-pound middle linebacker for the Fighting Clan, as he scores his first touchdown of the season. And Vineland's defense getting in on this one as Colin Greif gets set for the extra point. Ball snapped, spotted, kick is up, and it is good. So with 11.2 seconds remaining here in the second quarter, Vineland now leads Bridgeton 14-0, courtesy of an interception return for a touchdown by middle linebacker Ryan Carter. As he gets mobbed by his teammates on the sidelines, congratulating him. If I'm not mistaken, Rich, I don't believe Ryan was suited up for the final scrimmage of the season. So he's getting some burn now on this defense. And I'm sure Coach Hendricks has to be thrilled with how this defense has played tonight. And now they capitalize on it and get a touchdown.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of new faces in there tonight. And maybe that's something after last week's cramping and this and that, or watching film, I'm sure there's assignments that they thought maybe were missed because of fatigue, and to use that depth, and you can see there's not an enormous fall off between the first and second teams.
Coach Russo passionate in that sideline huddle with the special teams unit here that's going to get set to kick this one away. Sure, he's telling him to keep that foot on the gas pedal, Rich.
See if Vineland kicks it deep again. So far, every kickoff has been attempted to be kicked deep.
as Greif, bit of a squib kick right into the hands of the returner there for Bridgeton. Gets popped out of bounds by DJ Clark. This is number 52, Jerron Bunto for Bridgeton.
So 7 seconds left for the Bulldogs.
Jerron Button on the kickoff return. Button returns it.
Good hands by Bunto.
Yards to 42. First and 10 Bulldogs. Third 42.
So this drive will start for Bridgeton. Very limited drive with 7.7 seconds remaining here in the second quarter. But they'll have it at the 42-yard line. But like we said, they will receive that second half opening kickoff, so let's see if they just take that knee, go into the locker room, reconvene, regroup, and come out for the second half here.
Quarterback draw, you're taking a knee. Looks like we need another guy down here, Vineland. There we go.
High snap. Bridgeton firing deep. And it's intercepted by Xavion Diaz, who's taking it up past midfield, trying to get up. And he's taken down just shy of the 40-yard line.
Intercepted by number 7.
Good awareness there by Xavion.
There's a penalty flag on the field.
We do have a flag on the field.
Possibly a taunting. So they should just pick that up because it'd be declined. Okay. So we're hitting half. I believe it was a taunting on Vineland, which would have just put them back 15, and they'd have to take a knee.
So going into halftime, Rich, Vineland leading 14-0, their first lead of the 2022 season. And overall, I've been pretty impressed with how all three phases have played tonight for Vineland. There's a lot of consistency. Seems like they definitely cleaned some things up throughout the week post-Oakcrest loss last week. And this defense just continues to impress, and I think it's going to be an anchor for the way that this team performs all year long. And they get in on the scoring as well. The defense gets that second touchdown.
And if the defense continues at this pace, then it's also going to alter what you want out of your offense. You know, so now maybe your offense's goal is 3 first downs in a drive, because then you can play some field position and grind out as we get into the dog days of the schedule where you're going to be able to hang in there. So good first half. Again, that's now 6 quarters of no points allowed by the Vineland D. And we're ready for half.
Getting ready for halftime here at Bridgeton High School. The Fighting Clan leading the Bulldogs 14-0. James Hitchens Jr. and Ryan Clark with the touchdowns for Vineland. And as we get set for halftime, we'll see you in the second half. Here, Rich Scarpa, Kyle Bennett in the booth.
Attention please, ladies and gentlemen, if you have lost a debit card, please report to the press box for identification, and hopefully we'll get it back to the right person. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the Bridgeton High School Marching Band. gentlemen, your attention please before we begin the second half. If Shinasia Williams is in attendance, Shinasia Williams, please report to the press box. Thank you.
It's always been my favorite. Like, this is awesome, but radio, painting your own picture. Have you done radio before? I enjoy that. It's kind of like everybody sees what I see here, and I can't be a good story. The best.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for the second half of Vineland and Bridgeton here at Bridgeton High School. And Rich, we saw fantastic offense, ball movement from this Vineland offense in the first half, obviously an offensive touchdown, but really the story so far through 6 quarters of this 2022 season has been the defense. They get in on the scoring as well late in that second quarter, and Vineland has a 14-0 lead going into the third quarter here against Bridgeton.
And came out of that first half in pretty good shape. We just got to check on Prince, and hopefully he's okay. But you saw that change of pace when Clark came in, and then you think, put the 2 Clarks there, put Prince there with one of the Clarks. It's that thunder and lightning. It gives you a different approach to people, you know, and having that one back, you get to figure out a little bit of what's going on. So, and the offensive line has held their own. I mean, they're playing not the most experienced defensive line except for Morris, but they're playing some big guys, and they're getting a push. They're coming off the ball. They look sharp.
And as we begin the second half, number 14, Colin Bright.
So Vineland will kick away to Bridgeton to start this second half. We'll get that tenacious D, if you will. Shout out to Jack Black.
Tenacious D.
As Greif kicks this one away. And it's going to go, oh, it's returned. Greif gets a bit of a break there as Bridgeton will return this one. And taken down
Number 5, Gary Harper
is Gary Harper III. Looked like that ball was getting set to go out of bounds, Rich. So Vineland catches a bit of a break there in terms of field position.
Yeah, it's going to be inside the 20, so it works out well. I don't know if I would have waited for the next bounce to be sure with pressure coming, so better safe than sorry. Bridgeton holds on to the football.
Bridgeton will set up shop at the 18-yard line here for this first drive of the second half. Brian Pritchett, the quarterback, under center for the first time in this one. He takes the snap. He's going to hand this one off to his running back, but he's met by a bunch of Vineland defenders, including Noah Cruz and Derek Akami.
Yeah, Noah's been in on a lot.
Only a sophomore, and he's making a name for himself so far in 2 games already this season for Vineland.
And he's one of the ones with some responsibility of outside containment when he does press up, and he's done an outstanding job.
And we've just seen how much of a wrecking ball Derek Akami has been on this defense tonight. His first game of the season, the senior defensive lineman. Pritchett under center again. He takes the snap. It's fumbled. And that ball's on the ground. We'll see who comes up with it.
Number 7, Brian Pritchett.
They're signaling third.
Covers the fumble. Loss of 2.
Looks like Gary Harper III recovered that fumble there for Bridgeton.
At the 14.
It's going to be 3rd and long from about the 14-yard line here for Bridgeton. And not the ideal start for the Bulldogs.
No,
to start
and
this.
Outstanding for Vineland as they had to kick it away, and to get it back with probably better field position than the kickoff if they can hold them here.
So we'll see what Coach Hendricks dials up here on 3rd and 14 from the 14-yard line. Pritchett takes the snap. He hands this one off. That is Alejandro Vega, who's met by a bunch of Vineland defenders. Josian Serrano and Noah Cruz were in there to make the stop.
We talked earlier about Manny DeVellis, and they're basically helping make a tackle, keeping outside containment, but also knowing the down and distance, you know what I mean, and just trying to stop the forward momentum, not going in too hard to anything.
So
Xavier
Harris,
back.
he is taking on those punt returner duties this season, a new role that Coach Russo and company have trusted him with. We'll see what he does here. As he muffs that one, but he falls on top of it.
So two fumbles in the last 3 plays, but the person who drops it comes back on top of it.
Antonio Wilmore was in that scrap there along with Xavier. But Vineland will set up shop at about the 42-yard line here with 9:13 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Vineland leading 14-0.
Score here could be the backbreaker.
Like we mentioned, during our pregame discussion, Bridgeton won this matchup 20-0 last year.
Noah Cruz in on offense.
They pitch this one out to DJ Clark, and he's met by 2 Bridgeton defenders there. Angelo Marrero on the initial stop.
Really short pitch. I don't know how much leverage you gain from a 2-yard little pitch. And
2nd and 16 from the 48-yard line.
so the Bulldogs answer with that stop really makes it difficult for a first down. It's almost worse than a 5-yard penalty on first down because it's 2nd down and 15.
Cephas running in. Noah Cruz will run off. Russo sends everybody out wide again. Seems to be like their base package tonight as Cephas moves in motion. Russo going to carry this one up the gut. Picks up some tough yards there. Good run there by Danny.
It gets back pretty much everything they lost on that last play. So back to a 3rd and 10. As Charles Clark comes back in, DJ Clark to the side. Russo has his play.
3rd and 10 from the 42-yard line. Under 8 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter. Charles Clark lines up deep behind Danny. Russo takes the snap. He's going to fake the handoff, rolls out. He's looking to pass. He fires, and it's over the head of Joshua Cephas.
Looks like a late hit on the Bulldogs as Russo's a little shaken up. It's Jonathan Harris roughs the passer. So that's going to give Vineland a first down. I mean, with that rollout, you're the inside backer. You've run quite a long way, and just an extra step or two, and that really helps Vineland and kills you. The defense was holding 3rd and 10.
Looks like Danny's okay. He's going to stay in. As he runs over to the sideline to get the play call here. The offense seems to be moving with more fluidity this week. It seems like they're a lot more comfortable with the play calls, a lot more comfortable with, the formations that are, being assigned to them. And it helps when you get the burst of speed and Charles Clark back as well. Clark in the backfield with Russo. Russo takes the snap. He hands it off to Charles Clark, who tries to get around one guy, and he's taken down again by Jonathan Harris, but we do have a flag.
Number 8, Jonathan Harris on the tackle.
So Harris makes the tackle, gets a hold.
Vineland.
So it looks like it's going to be first down and about 22. So we talk about Clark coming in, finishing upfield, even when we were off the air. Sometimes you do a little too much with that cutback, and aside from worrying about ball security, there's also that chance that you're going to lose some big yards. Yeah, Darren Ford was one of the better running backs we've had at Vineland, but we'd always talk about like 3rd and 5. You know what I mean? What are we doing? We're not looking for a home run. So you would drive with your fullback and look for something bigger with the half, and Clark's showing a little bit of that. It's not the first time he's cut back.
Tank Powell to the bottom of your screen. And I think Russo
Pre-snap foul.
got the hard count off there, doing his best Aaron Rodgers impression on the field.
5-yard penalty.
And no need, they already came across the line. Plays dead.
Be a 1st and 20 now for Vineland at the Bridgeton 37.
So they
So
gained
let's-
5 yards there.
Let's try it again here. 1st and 20.
From the 37-yard line for Vineland, Russo in shotgun takes the snap. He's going to keep it himself. He's around the outside.
Number 10,
It's taken
Jason
down
Russo, the ball carrier.
by Jonathan Harris.
Jonathan Harris on the
So Harris made the mistake with the late hit, and now has made 3 tackles in a row as he showed some speed keeping up with Russo.
Russo picks up about 3 on that carry. So it'll be 2nd and 17 now from the 34 for Vineland.
While all this is happening, we're already halfway through the 3rd.
Much quicker quarter than we had in the first quarter to start this game. And
penalty flag
another flag.
on the field.
Mouthpiece? No flag.
No flag.
There is no foul prior.
Figured it was a sideline warning, pre-snap mouthpiece. There was no substitution, so I couldn't quite figure out what it could have been.
James Hitchens Jr., the lone receiver to the bottom of your screen. Russo takes the snap. Quick pass, it's tipped. And that is Jonathan Harris.
Daniel Russo's
Again, nothing up my sleeve.
understood by number 8, Jonathan Harris. 3rd and 17. 34.
Give a team 25 yards, 15 on the penalty, get the 10 back from the sack, set Vineland up, and then you make 4 plays in a row.
That's football, baby.
Now I think we go to that pump to the outside and then come back in. They're flying up the field. It's almost like that. We haven't done it, but you see that double screen option. You pump one side, turn, hit the other side. Because you got to use, if Harris is just going to fly back there, now you got to do something to get underneath him. And Bridgeton's coming again.
Charles Clark in the slot. James Hitchens Jr. to the bottom of your screen. Russo gets taken down. Did not have enough time there to get anything to happen. Harris with some after the whistle antics there, but
Got to find a way to get that out.
The loss of 8 on the play.
It just seems like Bridgeton's sending more than we can block.
Fighting plan at the Bridgeton 42.
it's be 4th and 7 or 4th and 25 now from the 42.
I say you go for it here, especially after a little bit of problems you had last week.
Looks like Greif is out there.
It's going to be a punt.
DJ Clark and Xavier
Oh, now
Diaz,
Clark's all
the
by himself. Ah.
Good snap. Greif gets this one away. Another great punt from the junior punter. And
Wow.
that is number 54, Gavin Gallo, on the stop there.
Well, Greif does
Initial.
an outstanding job with that kick, and the blocking was great. We talked about a problem last week. There was no problem there as they really blocked well for that one.
Got to send that punt footage to Pat McAfee and let him grade that one, because another beautiful punt from Colin Greif to pin Bridgeton back at their own 3-yard line.
This is dangerous here for Bridgeton. See if Vineland wants to add just a little pressure. See if Bridgeton's going to try to just hit a swing pass, but
Looking at Tayshaun Newman on the outside here, Rich. He's been causing havoc a ton. Let's see if he can get in and make a play. Pritchett gets this one away. Intended receiver.
well, only
all
one
types-
receiver heading up the field.
Jonathan Harris, the intended receiver, covered by 3 defenders. Tank Powell, Xavion Diaz, and Ryan Maven in on the coverage. If I'm Coach Hendricks here, 2nd down, I'm thinking about maybe sending Tayshaun Newman in there to, once again, create havoc. We've seen him, get his hand on the ball a little bit here on the defensive side of things. Keep your foot on the gas pedal here on defense.
He's on the wide side. He's got the speed to contain it, even if it tries to bubble out over him. This is a chance for the defense to maybe get a point or 2 here. I guess it'd have to be 2, or 6.
There is
Newman with the hit.
Number 7, Brian Pritchett, the ball carrier.
Pritchett back inside the 1 for 3rd down.
Runs these 2. 3rd and 12.
It's going to be 3rd and 12 from the 1. Just escapes the end zone there.
Now
and
this is
prevents the
where,
safety.
see if Bridgeton tries to draw Vineland off just to have a little room to operate. You really got nothing to lose, because if you jump trying it, you're only moving back 3 inches. Now they got him under center this time. Be a keeper? Nope.
Going to hand this one off. And they do get some breathing room there on the carry by Gary Harper the third.
Harper the 3rd, the ball carrier.
Gets them to the 5. It's only 1 short from your normal distance. So
Harper gains 4.
so defense does its job once more.
4th and 8 at the 5.
So Bridgeton will get set to punt this one away.
7, Diaz.
And once again, Jonathan Harris will be the punter.
Vineland takes a timeout.
Calls timeout. Their first.
See if anybody adds in there. Well, the defense has been dominant today. Last punt return was muffed but recovered by us. But should be great field position and a chance to return as Harris has put it in the air.
Just over 2 minutes to play here in the 3rd quarter.
It's nice to be back to normal football with fans and
Good crowd tonight here
Everything
at
else.
Bridgeton. On both sides of the field. Vineland traveled pretty well. A cross-county rivalry, as we mentioned.
On the field, they'll have field position. That's what I was looking for. Thank you, George. Thank you. You were supposed to do that anyway.
4th and 8 from the 5. Jonathan Harris deep in his end zone. Gets this one away. A high punt. This one takes a favorable Bridgeton bounce and roll to about the 43-yard line there.
well, after that, Bridgeton gains back the field position they had lost. But they've also lost some time, about 10 minutes of this third quarter gone, just 2 minutes and 5 seconds left. See if Vineland just tries to make some positive plays.
38-yard punt by Harris.
See if we can get Charles Clark more involved here in his first game of the 2022 season of his sophomore year.
Maybe give him something a little more between the tackles where we know he's going to get upfield. I mean, that was what we were so impressed with last year, was him finishing runs.
James
Interesting
Hitchens
formation
Jr.
here for Russo.
DJ Clark moves in motion. James Hitchens Jr. all the way at the bottom of your screen. Russo moves Clark again in motion, takes the snap, fakes the handoff, runs up the gut himself. He's got plenty of room to run. He's got a couple to beat, and he falls down at about the 20-yard line. Great run there by Danny Russo.
Actually, a really nice tackle, too, by Devontae Howe, the freshman. He doesn't overcommit. Russo hits the brakes, waiting for him to go by, and he just shut it down.
Finally going no huddle here.
It's a first in a while.
Russo in shotgun. Clark takes the motion. Russo runs it with the high snap. He breaks a tackle. He's still on his feet. Takes a leap. And he's down at about the 5-yard line. Another good run by Danny Russo to set Vineland up with a very ideal scoring position.
Boy, and they're moving fast. I thought that time they were going to give the jet. It'll be jet keep, jet go, or jet dream. Like, you check out the end, see what you want to do before the snap, how they're lined up. So now you got your big boys up front. Time to just push this mess backwards.
So Russo in shotgun here. Receivers to the bottom of your screen are DJ Clark and James Hitchens Jr. Russo moves Clark in motion, takes the snap, hands it off to Clark. He's trying to make a cut up in, and he gets into the end zone. Touchdown, DJ Clark.
DJ Clark is in for a Vineland touchdown.
And Vineland gets their second touchdown on offense tonight.
Yeah, and Clark that time doesn't go stretching to the sideline. He plants his foot, cuts upfield.
And Vineland now with a commanding 20-0 lead before this PAT from Colin Greif takes place.
That's just it. Like every time you've had Russo go, you set that up. And then Clark, they're sending the backers. They're pressuring the inside. They take themselves out of the play, and Clark can walk in.
Ball snapped, spotted, kick is up, and it is good. So with 58.6 seconds remaining here in the third quarter, Vineland takes a 21-0 lead over the Bridgeton Bulldogs, courtesy of a rushing touchdown from DJ Clark.
We're just a minute away from 7 shutout quarters for the defenses. It continues to grow.
And as the defense, this is something I feel that's different from last year's defense and offense, hand-in-hand tandem there. Last year, the defense would go out, pitch these shutouts, contain and everything. But the offense struggled to move the ball down the field. Now it feels like the way the defense is playing, it's kind of oozing some confidence into the offense and allowing them to kind of just go out there, play loose, because they're working symbiotically now with the defense as opposed to, separate units, and they're playing as a complete team, even though your defense and offense are out there at different times.
And you're also getting such better field position. Yeah, and the defense has always been strong, but it's also gave up a few first downs. We lose field position. It takes 6 minutes to get that back. But now we're operating in plus territory quite often, which makes it a lot easier for the offense. See if they let Greif kick this one away.
Kind of a in-the-air squib, short kick there for Vineland.
Nice tackle.
Great tackle there by sophomore Bryce Wilson.
Number 52, Jerron Hutton on the kick return. Takes over possession, first and
So
10.
right at their own 35, start the Bulldogs. Time is running out on them. They get another game with their offense, just like last week's with Oakcrest, having a hard time doing much on the defense.
Let's just continue to see this defense build even more momentum together as a unit. They're playing extremely well.
And rolling people in
Right.
all the time.
Keeping bodies fresh. And obviously you get that addition of Derek Akami back this year, the senior leader on that defensive line. It changes a lot of the looks you get with Akami in there and the strength and the force that he brings up front for this defense under Coach Hendricks. First and 10 from the 35 for Bridgeton. Man in motion. Pritchett takes the snap, hands it off to the back. It's Gary Harper, the third on the carry for Bridgeton.
That was a nice quick hitter for the Bulldogs as they pick up about 5.
Gain 6. Second and 4 at the 41.
They're going to call it a gain of 6 there for Bridgeton. So 2nd and 4 now for the Bulldogs.
It's a rough first quarter with some of the snaps for Bridgeton. Now they seem to have it figured out. And Bridgeton's going to take a timeout. While we have that timeout, we'll be sure to thank our sponsors.
But the Red and Gray Gridiron Club would like to thank the following sponsors for their support of the Vineland High School football team. Ducharmes, the Greenview Inn at Eastland Golf Course, Reconstructive Orthopedics, Newfield National Bank, Van Dodge, Allen Associates, Technid Consulting, Medio Law Firm, Barufi Brothers, G&S Dry Cleaning, Vineland Education Association, Dr. Michael Gorson General and Cosmetic Dentistry, the Claridge, a Radisson Hotel, the Gorgo Group, Larry's 2 Restaurant and Catering, Bettino ShopRite, Carluzzo and Teresi Petroleum Transporters, Homestead Plumbing, Richland Carpet, Manny and Vic's Pizzeria, and Sir Speedy Printing. The Vineland High School football team and coaches thanks everyone for their support on and off the field.
And welcome back, everybody. 24 and a half seconds remaining here in the third quarter. Is a high snap for Pritchett there. He's going to have to carry it himself.
Number 7, Brian.
He breaks free of some tackles, but finally taken down by the Vineland defense. Believe that was Tank Powell who made the stop there. Pritchett is slow to get up.
And Pritchett's going to stay down. We're going to have a break here as they check on him. That's that running that we haven't seen in a while. You know, that violent, aggressive, powerful lower half driving through, as he should have been stopped for a loss, but he breaks a few tackles and also takes a wear on you too, as you see the gets hit at the end of that. Hopefully he's just cramped up and he'll be back in. But for Bridgeton now, this is your third quarterback in 15 days. Figure out who it's going to be coming in for the Bulldogs.
Second quarter score.
A couple of opponents that Vineland will see later on in the year playing tonight, Holy Spirit and EHT. Holy Spirit leading 21-7 in that one.
Well, Pritchett able to walk off. Pritchett was one of the guys before last week's games, one of the Bridgeton players that were down watching on the Vineland side.
Number 7, Brian Pritchett.
So, new quarterback, possibly Marrero.
I think so. Take it personal. Yes, it's a personal thing. Unfortunately, we weren't able to, be there.
And that does it for the third quarter.
With the score.
So the third quarter comes to a close with Vineland leading 21-0. DJ Clark with the most recent touchdown for Vineland. 7 quarters now, Rich, for Vineland's defense without giving up a score.
It can get back in there. Since the quarter ended, he's able to get in. If he is physically able, he can go back in.
Millville also in action tonight, Rich. They are down 6-0 in the second quarter versus Irvington at the rumble on the Raritan with 9 minutes and 11 seconds left in the second quarter.
So Pritchett remains out.
Starting the fourth quarter here in Bridgeton, Vineland up 21-0.
Looks like Gary Harper III is the de facto quarterback. High snap picked up there by Angelo Marrero, taken down by DJ Clark.
Recovers the errant snap.
There's been a lot tipped back down to himself by Pritchett.
7, second and
That time over they had.
17.
Loss of 7 there for Bridgeton. So 2nd and 17 now from the 42-yard line.
Looks like Gary Harper's taken over the quarterback duties.
So Harper, the de facto quarterback here for Bridgeton. A little bit of a high snap again. He's going to run it himself, though. He's got plenty of space. Harper makes it up past midfield. Takes it past the 40, the 35. And Harper's finally taken down Tayshaun Newman and Ryan Carter.
5'8" junior had some moves.
Harper gains 25. 1st and 10 Bulldogs at the Vineland 33.
10:37 to go.
Great run there by Harper.
This is the first time Bridgeton's driven into Vineland territory. Like how Vineland's defense didn't over pursue. You know the situation. He's got a run going. Let's just shut it down here. Close it up, kind of the way they used to tackle Pacheco. Circle him before you engage him.
5 wide here for Bridgeton. Harper, high snap again. He's looking, and he's taken down. Big hit, big sack by Tayshaun Newman. Terry on McGriff for Bridgeton is down.
It's one of the ones you wait for as a defender. Harper did not feel it, didn't know he was coming there. And that pile ends up going into Ron McGriff, who's on the ground now.
Loss of 7 there on the sack by Newman. We've been calling his name quite a bit tonight, along with Akami on this defense.
Also got a lot of Noah Cruz,
Noah
too.
Cruz. Ryan Carter has a touchdown tonight for this Vineland defense.
Bulldogs number 70, Teron McGriff.
So if
sure
you're
DJ Clark is excited he got that touchdown to make sure that the offense is outpacing the defense in terms of scoring in this one.
Yeah, Clark on a jet sweep, a little 5-yard. Ron Carter had a 21-yard interception return, and way back in the first quarter, it's a beautiful pass to Hitchens, 27-yarder, and Greif makes all 3 kicks. Good snap, good hold on everything going on. That field goal / extra point team has done well.
21-0 Vineland. And I'm sure that, when you looked at that play, Harper's probably wondering what truck hit him.
He was crushed by one guy and 2 guys piled on.
Oh, my gosh. Wow. And I wish I could tell him.
So now we have Pritchett back in there with Harper right behind him.
Back in the game at quarterback.
Man in motion for Bridgeton. Pritchett takes the snap. He hands it off to Harper, who's looking to cut up field, but he's taken down.
Was Newman grabbing the jersey, holding him up.
Number 73, Jordan Bennett on the stop.
Number 73, Jordan Bennett on the tackle.
It looks like Pritchett is limping. Why is he even in the game? You're down 21-0.
Pritchett still has a bit of a limp there as he jogs back out to the huddle.
Well, when you're the new quarterback after a defection, definitely want to show your teammates your toughness and your grit.
3rd and 19 at the 42.
About 8.5 and counting here in regulation. 3rd and 19 for the Bulldogs. Man in motion for Pritchett. He takes the snap. He fakes the handoff. He's scrambling, looking, and he's going to be taken down by Tayshawn Newman.
Newman's having himself a highlight reel.
Number 8, Tayshawn Newman.
And it just seems like Coach Hendricks is scheming his skill set perfectly with the force that they have up front on this defensive line. They're able to let Newman kind of, roam around free and be a bit of a quarterback spy and use his size and strength to get after the quarterback while still having that presence along the defensive line.
Yeah, I think that last part's the key, by still being able to do your job when they're freeing you up to do a little bit more. And that takes a lot of discipline and a lot of athletic ability.
Official correction on that ruling is an incomplete pass. 4th and 19.
So they rule the last play an incomplete pass. Second time that's happened in this one.
Now I think somebody said, no, you're crazy. That was a sack.
And now it's a sack again.
It's the second time that's happened today. One time right at the goal line back.
Punt gets away. Another good kick by Harris. It's going to be fielded here by Xavion Diaz. Makes some men miss. Cuts upfield past the 30, the 35, 40, 45, 50. He's past the 40. Great return by Xavion Diaz. Gets up to about the 36-yard line.
Well, between the extra points, the kickoff coverage, the punt return, the good blocking on all aspects, special teams has really stepped it up today as they were the ones dragging a little bit behind the rest of the team, but they've been a big advantage for us this evening. Excellent job.
Great return there by the first-year return man for the Fighting Clan, sophomore Xavion Diaz, who burst onto the scene last year in that crop of freshmen who got that varsity call up. And he's just doing it all for the Fighting Clan. As Russo lines up in shotgun, Charles Clark beside him. Takes the snap, hands this one off to Charles Clark, who cuts upfield past the 30, the 25, 20. He's past the 15, 10, 5. And we'll see what the ruling is here as he hits the pylon.
Looks like they're calling him down around the 1.
Charles Clark gets up a 34 and a half yard carry there for the sophomore running back. As Vineland's now ready for more.
Bridgeton has mixed in some smaller defensive linemen at this point in time, and you don't want to be at the 1-yard line when you have some smaller guys in there.
Get a whistle here. Timeout called by Bridgeton.
Well, the game's really opened up for Vineland, and so it's a little bit of what we were hoping for last week, where you can wear an opponent down because they have a lot of guys going both ways that have to. And the fall off when you give somebody a break is really big because of the lack of amount of players in a program. You could see you've lost a quarterback, and then Pritchett goes out and turns into a wildcat offense. Like, you're the void of what to do next, when yet for years with us at Vineland, last year it was Russo banged up, and whether Tank came in and ran quarterback or whoever, it was the same offensive fit.
So Vineland threatening for more, up 21-0 here with 7:26 remaining in regulation. Vineland at the 1-yard line. Russo takes the snap, hands it off to Charles Clark.
Put your hands in the air like you don't care. Nope.
Just
down
shy.
Inside the 1.
Number 6, Charles Clark, the ball carrier. No hand. Second and goal at the 1.
Vineland now on about the inch line. Second and goal.
Wasn't that long ago Bridgeton was on their own inch offensively. We have a lot of action inside there.
And I think this is a good game, too, for Vineland. They've gotten a lot of red zone opportunities to run that red zone offense. I think that's going to pay dividends as the season moves along.
Well, we got a whole bunch of bodies down to the right. Let's see if Russo follows them.
Russo moves DJ Clark in motion. He's going to carry it himself and takes it in for the touchdown. Daniel Russo in for his first rushing touchdown of the season. And now Vineland leads 27-0 with 6:32 remaining in regulation.
How was that play call? Good?
Russo was notorious for running in some touchdowns last season, gets his first of 2022. And we'll see if Colin Greif can tack on his 4th point of the game with this PAT attempt.
Vineland sets it up nice with an unbalanced line with 2 backs right behind the line of scrimmage.
Ball snap, kick is spotted, it is up, and just helicopters through. So 28-0, your lead now for the Vineland Fighting Clan over the Bridgeton Bulldogs with 6:32 remaining here in regulation. And this has just been a fantastic game for Vineland, start to finish on all 3 phases of this game.
Yeah, and even with trouble on that conversion, whether it was partially blocked or not, it's through and it's good. It's when you look at, oh, that one wasn't perfect. Well, everything else has pretty much been, and we've not seen people, not that we do often, but assignments are carried out. Nobody's in the wrong spot. There's no broken plays. We watch a lot of times other teams turn around and nobody's there. Well, that's a loss of 7 and killing a drive.
Coach Russo will have some math to do in his little notebook to subtract away some of that 51-0 Bridgeton beatdown that they had back in 2013 at homecoming.
And Coach Kevin Turner's offense is executed really well, as I was mentioned, but also has ran downhill. And you add a few weapons in there. You add a little time in there. Coach Russo converging with the officials about something there. I know we were talking about last year's game and some officiating calls on your podcast. And
yeah, Coach Russo was not too happy with some of the calls last year at Vineland against Bridgeton.
Nor were we. It was like, what?
Very confusing stuff that went down as Coach Russo heads back to the sideline. Make sure you guys tune in to the Dan Russo Show each and every Thursday night. Premieres on the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. As this one's kicked away and Bridgeton falls on it. That's number 33, Zaquise Jones.
Number 33, Zaquise Jones.
So with 6.5 minutes to go, we'll see what Bridgeton brings out on offense.
First and 10. They're on 35.
Now, if you're Bridgeton, maybe you think we got to find somebody to play quarterback so we can hand this ball off to Pritchett, or implement an offense where he's able to run more on design runs. Bridgeton just not able to get an edge except that one run. The outside of Vineland's line has just been outstanding, as you mentioned, with Akami and DeVillis.
First and 10 here for the Bulldogs from the 35. Pritchett takes the snap, hands this one off to Harper.
Number 5, Gary Harper, the third, the ball carrier. And 3. Second and 7.
Picks up maybe 3 on that one.
Serrano went on that along with Diaz. Heard the excitement on that one run that Bridgeton had. The fans are here just waiting for something, but Vineland's not giving them the opportunity, except for Harper's run, which you heard a roar. I looked down, I'm like, wow, it's pretty packed.
Yeah, great turnout tonight here for Bridgeton's opening game. Pritchett takes the snap. He's looking to pass. Newman. Pass is completed.
Boy, about to get sacked, and So it probably bled in on us. Harper does a great job.
Alejandro Vega makes the reception, taken down by Ryan Maven. They pick up about 4 on that one, so it'll be 3rd and 3 from the 42-yard line here for Bridgeton.
Well, 2 positive plays in a row, and that hasn't happened a ton.
Pritchett in shotgun, takes the snap, hands this one off to Harper, who busts up the gut and takes it close to midfield. It'll be a first down, but we do have a flag on the play here.
The flag came way in from the back. Well, good job, Coach Russo. Coach Russo's discussion with the official earlier was going to go one of 2 ways. He was going to make that flag on us for something, a face mask or something there, or he made his point and he'll get the holding call, and he gets the holding call. You know, sometimes you may say, well, it's 28-0. Why are you on the officials? Because you're going to see them again. And you want to make your point so that when you do speak, they'll listen to you. I used to have a rule, don't ask for anything that's not yours, and admit when they're right, even if you don't want it. That way you can have their ear a little bit. 3rd and 7.
Pritchett moves a man in motion, takes the snap, hands this one off to Harper, but he is met by the Vineland defense. Derek Akami, Bryce Wilson, and Emmanuel DeVellis in on there to make the stop on Harper.
6'1", 230, 6'5", 215. There's some nice bookends. Well, the last punt return was really nice.
Let's see if
Diaz.
Xavier Diaz can replicate that, if not improve upon it.
Harris says he needs one more. And Bridgeton will have to take a timeout and sort it out as our players short.
Their 3rd and final timeout.
Down to 4:04.
Again, fans, as final reminder, calling all BHS students, athletes, parents, and community members. Tomorrow,
So on the road again next week,
September
KB.
3rd, we will honor BHS graduate and current Dallas Cowboys safety Marquise Bell.
I believe next week, Rich, is the only game Vineland has that's not on turf against Clearview. That'll be on grass.
Here at Jim Hersey Memorial Stadium.
So it wouldn't shock me if Coach Russo spends a little bit of extra time practicing at the high school this week on some actual grass surface to just get the
And with
players used to it.
The ability to practice on the turf normally is great because by this time of year it'd be dirt on the practice field.
For your support.
One after that, September 16th, Kingsway at Vineland, 6 o'clock start. We'll have that for you.
So you kind of work into it now going to Clearview. You don't have one of your hammers.
That'll be another revenge game from last season as Clearview was able to beat Vineland. Good snap here on the punt for Bridgeton. Great hang
Boy, it's a
time.
beauty.
Beautiful punt as this one gets through the hands of Xavier Diaz, and it's, let's see if he actually touched it. And they're saying he pulled the old Todd Pinkston on that one, Rich, as Xavier didn't actually touch the ball. So it looks like this one will stay with Vineland.
He said, I tried to touch it with all my heart, but I'm telling you, I didn't. Hats off to the officials. A lot of times in a game like this, you may get a different call, but I didn't see any beanbag hit the ground.
13-yard line.
So we're down to 3:55. Vineland executing much better than week 1.
Danny Russo in there at quarterback. Charles Clark, the running back. Russo takes the snap, hands this one off to Charles Clark. Tries to cut, but he looks like he slipped a little bit there and maybe picks up a yard on that carry.
Looks like we got a Bridgeton player slow to get up with
Looks like
3:40
Angelo
on the clock.
Marrero, number 2 for Bridgeton.
Number 8, Tayshawn Newman was the ball carrier.
Certainly many more options for Vineland when they're more at full strength, and that's without Charles Burt back in there yet. Hopefully, as we talk, or you talked during your show, that MRI coming. Hopefully, he's going to be all right. One of the 2 captains tonight for Vineland.
And that's something I feel like Vineland sort of lacked last season is that positional depth across the board. And it seems like this year with the guys who got called up, with that bunch of freshmen that we continue to talk about, now they have another year under their belts. They have a full training camp with Vineland under their belts. To add to the depth here, they have a number of sophomores on this team, which...
Yeah, and even at the running back position, Bortes handled it the first week and got better as the game went on. Wouldn't have been long ago that it would have been all DJ Clark.
Right.
And then later, when Charles gets there, it would have been but like it was one guy. Now we're talking about 3 different guys, and not one guy that can run it and 2 guys that can run jet.
Exactly.
And
then you're adding, dimensions to this offense, spreading everybody out wide, using guys like a Josh Cephas in kind of that, jet sweep in that wide receiver screen game, using his speed to his ability as a pass catcher as well. It's just an extension of the running game. As it looks like Angelo Marrero for the Bulldogs is making his way off to the sideline under his own power.
Number 2, Angelo Marrero.
Second and 10 here for Vineland. Russo takes the snap, hands this one off to Charles Clark as he
face
tries
mask.
to bounce around the outside. He continues to stay on his feet, spins away, barrels through. Good hard run by Charles Clark.
Oh, it's a hold, not a face mask. Just thought face mask when I seen his head move, but Vineland held deep on that one.
That was number 6.
Shows you that run I was asking for between the tackles, between the hashes, staying inside there. 3:27. So that's really going to put Vineland back inside their 5. Although the one flag is at the 30, but I got another one back at the 11. Maybe 2 fouls. So maybe we do have a face mask and a hold. Let's see what we got.
For next week's game, injury free, and then 2 weeks they're at home against a tough Kingsway team. That will be a good one to cross.
Actually, played a pretty good first half. It was 7-0, but all of a sudden they had the interception.
So what I think I saw there was holding Vineland and a personal foul. I didn't see them do the face mask thing. So I don't know if we're going to walk back and forth on the field or do this over.
Get everybody their steps in for the day.
So if the holding penalty happened in the backfield, you'd be at half the distance to the 6 and then get your 15. Should get you to the 21, 20-yard line, not bad.
Not too shabby.
George Costanza, leave him on a high note. I'll see you next week.
Grab him while he's hot, ladies and gents.
.317, so it's almost like a do-over. We're at 2nd and 4. That was a heck of a run by Clark, though.
James Hitchens Jr., the receiver to the bottom of your screen.
Let's see if he makes a run for it. He waddled out a little gimpy like. That's usually a sign you're going to head up that field.
Russo takes the snap, hands it off to Charles Clark, bounces around the outside, spins away from the first tackler, but gets taken down there. But still picks up that first down.
They show him Mead on the stop, stays in bounds. So we're going to have a 1st and 10.
Coach Russo still not happy with the refs. He's making a case.
Like everybody knows we're at the 26. Let's move them chains, fellas.
Seemed like Coach Russo was not happy. Seemed like there might have been a hit after the whistle in there, and nothing gets called. So
we talked about Coach Parentazzi last week, and that's something he was never happy with the officials. And he would not use our chapter officials. He'd use others. I forget which, if he went to Camden instead of here. But anytime we got stuck with our local ones, boy, did they give it to him. And he had this wired headset, and he'd run out there, and the headphones go flying off his head. He'd partially trip into it like Fred Flintstone kicking stuff around. Vineland tighter formation than normal here. 2 backs back there.
Let's see if Charles can run like Fred Flintstone out there.
Well, Coach did resemble Fred a little bit. Not that I'm that far off myself, but.
Russo takes the snap. He fakes the handoff. He's going to carry it himself. Gets upfield, takes the slide. Yabba dabba do, Rich.
Hey there, Fred. I don't do a good Fred. I'm better at a Barney, and a Yogi Bear is not bad either.
2nd and 1 there's Danny slid just shy of the first down marker.
Carlos, you stand all the way back there, and gosh forbid if something were to happen, you make the tackle. So Russo will be taking a knee, waiting for the back judge to start counting them down. We're under a minute at 55 seconds. So they have 5 seconds.
Russo under center, takes that knee.
Keep that flag in your pocket, official. Got a little movement on the Vineland line, but in the kneel down, they're going to let that run at 40 seconds. So one more time for Russo to take a knee. He'll do that under 25.
And Vineland setting up for their first win of the season in shutout fashion.
So we're under 25. One more kneel down, and that's going to do it. Fighting Clan will even their record at 1-1. The revenge win in Bridgeton last year. Bridgeton 20-0. This year, 28-0. Fighting Clan.
And like we said, Rich, an overall fantastic performance in all 3 phases for this team. You're able to convert all 4 extra points, so you get Colin Greif on the board with some of his first varsity points there. Offense looked great in the passing game, the running game having Charles Clark back, and this defense now 2 straight games of scoreless football under Coach Hendricks, and you get Derek Akemi back in the fold. He looked fantastic tonight, and I think this is just a sign of great things to come for this Fighting Clan team this season as they get set for a tough matchup next week against Clearview.
Well, Coach has to be happy with the growth from week 0 to week 1. And before we get out of here, let's just remind you of the scoring. It was Hitchens with a 22-yard pass from Russo with 4:41 to go in the first. Greif made the extra point, 7-0 Fighting Clan. Then Ryan Carter picked one off and rumbled in from 21 out on an interception return with Greif's kick with just 11 seconds to go in that second quarter. As we get into the third, that one's winding down, and with 58 seconds left, it's DJ Clark with a 5-yard run on a jet sweep, cuts it up on the inside. Greif makes another kick. We're at 21. And the last score, Russo's 1-yard run, followed with Greif's kick, 28-0. The Clan in control, and I think even though they gave up just a smidge around 100 yards last week, it had to be less today.
Fantastic performance by the Fighting Clan. They'll be on the road again next week. You'll join us out in Clearview as the Fighting Clan gets set for week 2 action. And make sure you tune in to the Dan Russo Show, because I'm sure he's going to be elated about the outcome of this game. And Rich and I will see you in Clearview next week. But until then, have a wonderful Labor Day weekend, everybody. And we'll see you at Clearview for week 2 next Friday night.